month, New York Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez hosted a local meeting in Queens when a woman took to the microphone to address the climate crisis.
So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you, you're a pollutant.
It was like a Saturday Night Live skit. Chicken Little is telling us we need to eat the babies, taking this ridiculous climate change jargon to the next level. It had every earmark of being a spoof, but no one openly condemned her statements, leaving us unsure about whether the proponents of climate change think this insane philosophy is agreeable.
We have to ask ourselves the question, what does it mean to call something crazy when everything is crazy? If you don't know better, propaganda espoused by the high priests of climate change like Khan, Cortez, Nye, or Gore might lead you to conclude that climate change programs are about saving the environment. But, of course, you do know better. To be clear, the issue of whether or not the climate goes through changes has no significant weight. After all, the climate has been changing since the beginning of time.
The real issues, the relevant issues are climate variances exceeding cyclical norms, and to what extent is it man-made? When more closely examined, it seems that exaggerated climate change has little to do with the environment, but has everything to do with communism versus free market capitalism. Consider this. Ottmar Edenhofer, Vice Chair of the UN International Panel on Climate Change, says, "One must say clearly that we redistribute the world's wealth by climate policy." Harvey Reuven, former Vice Chair of the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives, made the claim individual rights will have to take a back seat to the collective in the process of implementing sustainable development. Are you catching these undercurrents of Marxism? Perhaps the most straightforward is David Foreman, founder of Earth First and director of the Sierra Club, who stated, "We must make this an insecure and inhospitable place for capitalists and their projects. We must reclaim the roads and plowed land, halt dam construction, tear down existing dams, free shackled rivers, and return to wilderness tens of millions of acres of presently settled land."
One way to identify climateers is by the changing terms they use. First it was global cooling, then it was global warming, next climate change, and now perhaps the most cryptic term, climate disruption. So, every time there's a storm, hurricane, tornado, typhoon, you name it, hotter, colder, wetter, drier, more snow, less snow, see, it's exactly what we've warned would happen. Their diagnosis is always the same.
Spoof or not, Chicken Little is telling us that climate change is all about just what the proponents say it's about. A Marxist world economy that pledges no allegiance to America, Americans, or the Constitution. In fact, like a god, it desires and requires all others to pledge allegiance to itself. We would be better off acknowledging God's authority over government and the planet. We would do well to obey God, not play God. This is Jake MacAulay
And Dominic MacAulay
with the Institute on the Constitution, bringing you the American View.